Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of Stir the Pot, the only place to be on a Saturday night. Hope you guys are all doing well, and we have got a great show for you tonight. In the house, my favorite smoking buddy, Mr. AP Aaron Pierce, and our very special guest tonight, Mr. Patrick Stipes. How are you tonight, sir?
All is well here. How about you, sir?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Hey, folks, we hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend. Thanks for tuning in to Stir the Pot. We got a fantastic episode. Pat's got some great stories for us. He's been working in the cannabis industry for quite a while, as well as a cannabis enthusiast and grower. So we're going to hear some great stories from Patrick. Aaron, how are you feeling today? We missed you last week.
I'm good. I'm glad to be in the house tonight.
Yes,
I'm glad to get it started. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Great to have you back. Aaron was, I believe he was on vacay last week. I think he was surfing in the Bahamas. So, but
yeah,
great to have you back trying the cannabis products down there. But I'm your host, Greno, and you are watching Staples Media and listening to as well. This is Stir the Pot, Saturday night. And 6 o'clock Pacific, 7 Mountain, 9 Eastern. Want to give out to shout out to all of our beautiful friends that are watching and listening in the cyber and TV and radio land. Yep, radio is still a thing, folks. How about that? So before we get into it with you, Patrick, we're going to do a quick word on the street. What's the word on the street tonight? Aaron? I'm not going to hand it to you, but basically, word on the street is I'm really glad to have you back. Last week was tough, but I had fantastic guests in Marianne Castello and Mr. Richie Shalanda. So they made it easy for me. But yeah, word on the street is we all need each other right now. We need our friends. We need support. Reach out to folks. Make sure that parents and friends and family, uncles, aunts, all the folks that you care about, reach out to them in some manner. It's easy to do, whether it's a phone call, Instagram, shout out, Facebook, whatever it is. Let people know that you're thinking about them right now. That's really important because we're thinking about you on Stir the Pot. So that's kind of the word on the street. We want everyone to have a great Labor Day weekend. Be safe, be happy, be positive. And with that, Pat, let's get into the meat and bones of this. So Pat's an Alabama boy first off, folks.
Born and
raised. Pat, let's just start back at the beginning, my friend. What was the first time that you used cannabis?
So it was actually a pretty memorable experience, or at least for myself. I would say probably about 14. And I don't think I would say I don't have the normal experience. One, because it wasn't offered to me at the time. I called someone and that I knew smoked and was like, hey, I want to get stoned. They drove down to the party I was at, and then I got extremely stoned from there and had a very, very enjoyable night. And since then, my interest for that has just continued to grow continuously for the plant, how it's grown, the quality of it, how to essentially run the entire show. So,
and so knowing what you know now about the effects, the different effects of like indica, sativa, hybrids, things like that, discuss for us, like at that first time that you smoked, again, you didn't have that knowledge then, but what would you guess that you were smoking on? Was it a sativa? Did it make you tired? What was it, an indica, you know?
Originally, the very first time was Mexican brickweed. Had to be tons of seeds, all of that, tons of stems. And then progressively, I started looking for more quality products and looking for the people that actually had quality, good stuff.
So you're from Alabama.
Yep.
What was the cannabis like down there?
In my opinion, towards the end, it was actually better than some of the cannabis that I've gotten in Colorado, or a lot of it that I've gotten in Colorado from some of the facilities, I guess, or companies. I think whenever they industrialized it, it kind of just dropped quality on some things. Not that it's not good, but I think at that time it was coming from California and it was a little bit better.
And right now, Alabama has no like recreational nor medical,
Nope.
correct?
Yeah, no
Oh, it's just
recreation.
black market.
Yep. They've tried to put recreation or medical on the bill multiple times, and it gets shot down before it's even added to it. And they've actually, a few years ago, I don't think they pushed it through, but we're trying to criminalize CBD. So they're pretty much adamantly against everything that is related to cannabis plant or a hemp plant. So
Right. And I mean, some of the southern states and other states too, in the, that Midwest section too of the country, just not privy to it yet. And it's just going to take time and just a lot of effort, a lot of grassroots effort for folks to get the word out there, spread the positive nature of cannabis, which is what we're doing right here. So, so what made the move? Why did you move from out to Colorado from Alabama?
So growing through my teens and things like that, I decided that I really wanted to probably move to cultivating cannabis in some aspect or some extent. And originally I had planned to go to California and just see what happened out there. But my the roommate that I live with now, a good friend Aaron that I've known for 15 years or so, he was a travel nurse and moved out here. So I had kind of like a nest to land in. So I came out here with the intentions of getting in the cannabis industry, and I had a place to land. But at the time, I was only 20, so I had to get a job at Dunkin' Donuts and other things, and then as well as a landscaping company to kind of subdue that.
But you definitely had your eye on the prize, right? As far as,
Yeah,
hey, as soon as I turned 21, I'm going to get, and talk a little bit to just folks that don't even know what that means to get a badge or whatever to work in the industry here in Colorado.
Yeah, so to work in the industry in Colorado, essentially you have to submit applications, be fingerprinted, background check and everything from the state of Colorado to make sure that you don't have anything in your background or anything like that that they would think would be a possible liability, I guess, to an organization or a company.
Okay.
So you had to wait till you're 21, and then once you get your badge, then you have to start applying and trying to get a job within a dispensary or a grow or anything like that. But it's actually not that easy. So it's kind of, I got lucky, I think, and started over at a recreational place in a small town that did really high numbers, so they had high turnover. So I think that was kind of my foot into the door to the company that I'm in now. So
that high pace, did that really help too? Like to get you acclimated to, just working with people and just the kind of things that you're going to be doing?
I would say so. But originally I've just always been a fast-paced person or a high-energy person. So I felt like I fit in pretty well there. But it is something that I think if you're starting an industry and you can have a little bit more of a tougher job or a tougher duty at a particular place, starting out, if you're good at it and you can mentally handle it, I think it kind of molds you and grows you a little bit better. So I think that did help me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're in the industry right now.
Yes.
Which one do you prefer, medical or recreational?
It's kind of funny. So they both have their pros and cons, just like everything else. I personally think recreational is a little bit easier, just because come in, got the ID, boom, boom, that's all you need, and you have a certain amount. And I feel like you get new faces and stuff like that all the time, and I'm always down for meeting new people and having different conversations. So that's the aspect I like about that. But there is also a nice part of having the medical side where you can get that rapport and things with the patients and stuff like that. So um, I would say, I think for me, recreational weighs out a little bit better, more or heavier, just because of the fast pacedness of it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, people traveling are going to shop at recreational all day long. So fast pace is always better, makes your time go by hella quick. So,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there's more product. More people are trying to get, like, starting their companies on the recreational side. And then if it takes off, they go to the medical side. So I think you have the opportunity to see a lot more companies grow, or at least just have more experience with other companies. So third-party edible companies, concentrate companies, vape pens, other things like that.
Sure.
Did you ever think you were going to be doing what you're doing now? Just like, obviously these types of jobs didn't even, exist, 15 years, 10, 15 years ago. So did you ever think you'd be doing what you're doing, working with cannabis?
Yeah, for sure. I knew I would be in cannabis. And my initial goal, and still is my end goal, would be to be managing or owning a wholesale cultivation facility and not really dealing with the dispensary side of it. But once I got into the retail side of it, I knew that I did want to climb the ladder and continue my path up that way. So I would say, yes, I did know that was what I was going to do. So
that's awesome. Hey, I just wanted, that reminded me that one of our guests on our first show, Daniel, just landed a job in Arkansas, and he's managing a cultivation facility there for, I believe, a recreational facility. So so Daniel, shout out to you. Much love. Daniel and Chelsea were on our first show. So always like to give updates of what folks are doing.
Nice.
Yeah, that is cool.
So Pat, when you make it big and famous here in a couple weeks, we'll talk about you too. So bigger and more famous, I should say. Right?
Yes.
But, okay. So how long has it been now that you've been working in the industry? As long as Aaron?
It's been 4 years and some change. Going to be 5 years next year. So no.
It's a baby.
Yep. Nowhere near as long as Aaron. But I started in March of 2016, and then I've been consistent with it till now. So
what's great for you, Pat, is a lot of folks, as we know, only stay in the industry for about 6 months. We all three know that. But also, it's mostly young folks that don't sustain. They're not able to. They're like, oh, it's a real job, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And so
I do think people, I don't know, see me a little differently sometimes. I am only 25 right now, turning 26 this month, so I don't feel like a lot of people my age are doing the things that I'm doing.
Well, Pat, you've been described by some of your dearest friends as an old soul. So shout out to Bob and Jen there. But yeah, that's how your friends described you to me one time. Anyways, just so you guys know, Aaron and I, we've known Pat for a while. We actually met him at an old job where we worked, and Pat came in as a patient. So long hair and look completely different.
Yes, sir.
Right? Almost a completely different person, right, Aaron?
Used to have all the way down to my back. So
yeah.
It's a lot different.
Long hair don't care.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That was before I got in the industry, so I've actually known you guys longer than I've been in the industry.
So I have a question for both of you, actually. What's your favorite part about working in the industry?
For me, it's the cannabis aspect. I do enjoy helping people, but cannabis has just been something that I've always been extremely interested in and extremely empowered to be involved in. So that's a huge aspect for me.
What about you, Aaron?
For me, it was probably gonna be the discounts. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real. Probably the discounts and things of that nature. Cannabis has always been around, but I love those discounts as an employee.
Yeah, Aaron's a guy that always likes to have a bunch of different strains around. He's very, he really likes to experiment, try different strains, and see how they work for him. So yeah, he's always been that way. It's something that I love about my amigo. My favorite smoking buddy. All right, folks. Well, hey, Pat, you're killing it. I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for
This
having
is
me.
Stir the Pot, and we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so, so Pat, talk about an experience that you had where you really helped someone. Could be on the rec side, on the medical, couldn't even, maybe not even in a work environment, where just cannabis really came in handy for someone that really needed it.
So one of my, that I would say most beneficial and most memorable cases for me would be a gentleman that has extreme nausea and hard time staying asleep once he has fallen asleep. So we went through a list of products and things like that. And then the company I was working for, we quit carrying a patch, which is a extended release transdermal patch. Quit carrying it for a while, and then I actually requested to get it back in, and that is actually what made him or allowed him to be able to sleep through the entire night. Instead of waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, he was waking up at 6 or 7. And then he had no nausea when he was waking up, to where originally he was throwing up and extremely nauseous until, so if he got up at 3 or 4, he was nauseous until 8 or 9 that morning. So that was something that really helped him. So that would be the case that I think I saw the most benefit that the patient had.
And did you get feedback from that guy, or?
I did, yeah. The
Awesome.
next time he came in, yeah, nothing but fantastic reviews, and said thank you. I just had nothing but great things to say, and thanked me. But it was just what's in my heart, sharing love and sharing the product with people that do have a medical purpose. So
It's always a good feeling when people tell you that something works, with cannabis. Something that I talked about last week was just that, and you guys know this as well, is that it's a journey. You have to try different products. You have to be open. You have to explore. And the more people do that, the more benefits, we can all get from it. So
correct. I do wish people would experiment more with a lot more things, but I do understand that it is a lot of times a financial struggle too for certain situations. So it is hard to try different things, but you are extremely correct on the journey part.
no, it's true. And you're right. The price point on some products are just, what if you don't like it, and you just try a little bit and it's like a $50 bottle of gummies or something. It's like, wow. So it's quite an investment. And, maybe that's something that the industry hopefully can look at with the smaller doses and things like that. So it's nice to see some edibles company offered, different milligram intakes, that way people can, use less or more.
Correct.
So what's really nice is like those 1,000 milligram bars and gummies where you can break it down to smaller, just 50 if you want. And then that's what, 20 servings?
Yep. And it's a lot more economical that way. So
pretty good value and things like that. Absolutely. So let's talk about growing. I know that you've been doing that for a while, and you see the smile. It's something that he loves.
So originally, I had the intentions of growing back around probably a year or two after I started smoking. So 14, 15, or 16, somewhere around there. And then I ended up ordering the Cannabis Grow Bible and Ed Rosenthal's Marijuana Growers Handbook, which both of those I've pretty much read from front to back multiple times, and it's still something that I reference to this day. And then I did start in Alabama a little bit, but we ended up burning the plants. So things got shut down and we never ended up going anywhere else with that. And then once I got out here, I started on that journey. So roughly about 5 years ago when I got out here in 2015, just doing runs and tents in the apartment that we were in, figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like. And then fast forward, I had to stop for roughly like 2 years or so just because I was unable to produce or cultivate in the facility or the area that I'm living in. And then last year, I was able, or about a year and a half ago, I was able to kind of start back. And it's been something that I've been able to continually stay at now. And it is a true passion of mine. Like I said, that is something that I would truly love to do, would be able to wake up on a farm or near a farm, go out there, work in the greenhouses, and just have massive amounts of marijuana around me. I think that would be. It's just super nice.
Definitely.
I don't know, like marijuana, or who wouldn't want to be around that much. So,
It is a wonderful thing.
it is.
Yeah.
So,
I know I want to be around that much.
Yeah.
Shit.
And for me, I feel like it's just sad that we had to wait this long for the industry to become legal and people to start researching, because there's no telling where we could be in actual here right now if cannabis or hemp had been legal the entire time. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, the thing now is to get off the Schedule II for cannabis, but also all this research. Let's be honest. No for-profit companies are going to take the time and effort and resources to do this. It needs to be done on an academic level at universities and colleges across the country. I mean, in other countries, it already is happening. In universities and things like that. I know two universities in the United States grow marijuana. So one's in Mississippi.
Yep, and
it's always kind of a joke, as far as, no offense, but.
No, I've heard people test the product that they've gotten for their scientific research from the facility in Mississippi, and it's got PM, aphids, all different types of molds and things on it. And it's like, how can you accurately test a product if you don't have a clean product to start from? That makes no sense.
Exactly. Aaron's reaction said it all right there.
Yeah, we don't want none of that in my body. None of that.
Right.
None.
Exactly. No, absolutely. Yeah, that's but again, yeah, it has to happen on the academic level, and with folks that again are also non-biased. You get for-profit people in there, like numbers start changing, priorities start to skew a little bit, and I just feel like, and again, for-profit is fine, that's what they are, but I feel like, yeah, the academic settings are where this research can really thrive and proliferate in the future. Hopefully we'll see that. We need the federal lift, the stuff to happen first.
Correct. I'm hearing talks about it, but we've heard tons of talks about a federal bill or something like that going to pass. But have you heard about that?
Yeah, and plus too, I don't know if you guys heard too, there's a new thing with hemp. They're trying to basically, how hemp was kind of decriminalized and things. Something's going on with that as well in legislation that's trying to overturn that, is what I believe. So again, I can't speak to the full details of it, but it's something that people need to look at and things like that, especially people that are producing that. It's such a huge thing now.
Yep.
It's amazing that it all started with one little girl, but it did. All right, that's another show. And we'll talk about that. Actually, we have a CBD show coming up next month, I do believe. Yeah. So, Pat, do you have any favorite strains? I'm not going to ask Aaron because we only have like an hour, and Aaron's got like at least 30 favorite strains. So, that is great kids.
Yeah. Some of my favorite strains I have found in Colorado, so that is good. It would be Purple Trainwreck. It's just a fantastic effect. Good nug structure and all of that. Like I was saying earlier, I kind of overanalyze weed a lot of times. Does it look good and smell good? What is the nug structure like? So, that's a good strain, Aaron. So I'm just a snob on it, I guess, in certain instances. Gelato is some of the best that I've smoked, as well as Wedding Cake. But I've only had Wedding Cake roughly 2 times. So that would be one of my favorite strains. How about you?
My favorites?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. It's like I don't get out enough to try like a lot of new strains, but I always like the OGs, just really earthy OGs, and like, I don't know, I like some of the energetic sativa strains, stuff with haze in it. I used to again, I'm old school, so a strain that I miss is the Strawberry Cough, which I guess Bruce Banner #3 is close. It's got the haze in it, but I like that fruity, like Aaron doesn't like the fruity, but I like the fruity, kind of some of the citrusy and sweet ones.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you remember Chocolope?
Yeah, I remember Chocolate.
Did you like that one?
It was cool. It was
Okay.
cool.
It's
I
like
like more of like Bubba Kush, OG Kush, Skywalker OG. I like a lot of earthy stuff, a lot of higher indicas, you know. I mean, I do occasionally like a sativa, but I don't know. Sometimes some sativas get me all a little anxious and, you know, ready to go. Too much.
one of my old partners, my old dispensary, guy named Hopper, he always used to call it sativa's pot light.
A pot
Which,
light.
that's kind of, but hey, sometimes you're looking for that kind of high. So, you know, it depends on
Yep.
what you're trying to do. So speaking of, folks, thanks for kicking it with us on a Saturday night. You are watching Stir the Pot. My name is Greno. We are on Stables Media. My smoking buddy Aaron Pierce is in the house. He's back after a wonderful vacation in Zimbabwe. And then, yes, you, oh, wait, no, weren't you? No, you were in Bora Bora.
I was in the Bahamas.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yes,
somewhere different every
Bahamas,
time.
brother. The Bahamas.
Aaron's all over the place, folks. He's an international kind of guy. And then Patrick Stipes, our Bama boy.
Woo!
So, Pat, we're going to give you, you don't have to leave the screen, or if you want to, you can. We're going to give you a little bit of a break right now, and I'm going to go into my treasure chest. Folks, that's a little feature we do on great artists that we admire. A lot of these folks are our friends, people that we work with. I do music, so the person that I'm going to talk about and celebrate tonight is my friend, Mr. Brock Smith, also known as Skeletons of Memory. You can follow him. I believe he's got Instagram, Skeletons of Memory, Facebook, Skeletons of Memory, and he's got Dropped Culture website and podcast. He's a very busy man. So let's get to it. Let's show you some of his artwork. He does a lot of flyers, album covers, cool stuff. He's a really great guy. And he has just recently became a grandfather. So congratulations. So here's his Menagerie CD that he did for my band Menagerie. Kind of got the Fu Manchu feel to it. Got the old gas station. We went for kind of a New Mexico feel. Here's
Pull up a little closer.
What? Here's the band Hippo. I think Aaron was at this show. And then here's another flyer he did for Menagerie. This one was at the Zodiac, which is a place that doesn't exist anymore. RIP Zodiac and Triple Nickel, two places that I played a lot of shows in town. Here's another one of his flyers, kind of a 60s one. This guy can do any kind of art. It's amazing. And you tell him, hey, can you do a logo for me? He knocks it out. He did the logo for this show, as a matter of fact. This right here is an album cover he did. And it's actually for a CD that I made, but I housed it in a gold album cover. There's like 10 different ones. So there's the front, there's the back with all the song titles. And then there's a crazy picture of me. And then on the inside, it's got this. So like a picture of all the different covers. There's one of each of these that exists. There's only 10. And then it's got a lyric sheet. He just does really good graphics, inlay, artwork. Here's a poster that also comes with it that he signed for my album, Sunshine in the Land of Milk and Honey. And I also did another album. Actually, these albums back here, I'll get this. It's a bigger copy, but Songs and Drums and Wolves. That's another one he did. So as you can see, he just does like every kind of style. He's super awesome. Very, very humble about the work that he does, but extremely talented. So I wanted to showcase the art of Mr. Brock Smith. And again, you can find his work, let me see, at droppedculture.com. And there's also a bunch of anonymous collective stuff on there, which is my music label. And then he's got a great band too called Dangerous Days. And you can find them on Bandcamp, Dangerous Days 3 on Bandcamp. And they got 3 or 4 releases on there. So just a great guy. Wanted to celebrate his great artwork. He's also a musician as well, like I mentioned. So Brock, love you. Great working with you. And it's just a tremendous gift to know all these people that are doing great music and art and everything else. Aaron is a very accomplished, Aaron, how would you call it? Freestyle? Yeah, it's freestyle. Aaron's like an off-the-cuff freestyle artist. So like if you ever catch, like when he does his thing, it's beautiful. So it's very rare. But if you catch it.
Rare.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very rare, like a dinosaur almost.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Again, that was Greno's Treasure Chest celebrating the wonderful artwork of Mr. Brock Smith. We're hanging out with Patrick Stipes. Pat, I got to ask you, are you related to Michael Stipe? And do you know who that is?
I'm not exactly sure if I know who that is, but, and you said Stipe without an S, right? Yep. So originally my name was Stipe. My family's last name was Stipe. And then I think my great-grandfather had a surgery at the hospital, and they added an S to the end of it. So there's a possibility I'm related to Michael Stipe. Because there's not too many people that I know with that name.
Ancestry.com, man. This guy, he's the lead singer of the band REM.
Okay.
And the reason I always thought it was ironic was he's from Athens, Georgia. So it's not that far. Like could be a relative of
It could be your daddy.
Yeah, man, that could be like, hey, that could be, I mean, it's broken up, but still that could be some kind of, if they reunite or Michael Stipe solo album or something, like some free gift for you, baby. Think about it. But no, I always just thought, man, I've never seen that last name other than Michael Stipe and Patrick Stipes. So Michael Stipe, what's up, brother? All right. Anyways, we're having a good time here. Pat, it's great having you on. Definitely.
Yes. Thank you.
It's cool to see someone that's young, that's in the industry, that still wants to make a career of it. And the cool thing is, I think I've chatted with you about this before, man. By the time you're, say 10 years from now, the opportunities in cannabis, I mean, they might look completely, they are going to look completely different. Aaron's going to be the CEO of some Cookies Incorporated company,
right?
And his own media conglomerate, and I'll be traveling across the country in a motorhome making crazy music and artwork.
Nice.
And, Pat will be growing wonderful marijuana.
That's competing with Cookies.
I will test it and see. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, I got to try some of Pat's marijuana that he grew. Pat, what was that strain we tried?
I think that one was just Blue Dream. So, one that we the one we tried the other day was Samoa Kush. So, Platinum Girl Scout cookie and Bubba Kush, I think.
It was great. Pat, of course, was very critical. These growers, they're worse than musicians. It's like, yeah, it could be this, but it almost that, and no. But I told you that night, I thought it was really good. In fact, I couldn't finish what you had given me. So, Aaron, how do you know that you're Gucci? Once you put out a joint halfway, or?
Hell no, I smoked the whole thing.
One. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I smoked the whole thing. There's no putting out. I just know my limit, I know when to smoke, how to smoke. I know what to smoke, and yeah, that's basically my situation on that. Mm-hmm.
Are you a mood smoker, Pat?
A mood smoker.
Like mood, like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna watch a movie right now, so I'm gonna go for this indica and just relax. Or
no, I wouldn't say so. I just enjoy all cannabis. I consume indicas primarily all day, but I may do something in the morning a little bit, and then not till later on in the afternoon. So once I get off of work and things, but once I'm home, I would say I consume a lot, and then not really a mood smoker, I wouldn't say.
Gotcha. Yeah, right, buddy. I know you light up when you watch Dances with Wolves now. Come on now.
No, it's Dancing with the Stars. That's one I like to
good. Hey. I love that show.
I love that show.
Aaron loves that show.
Does he?
That's his favorite. Yeah, and that's the thing. This is the first time we've got to talk a little pop culture. So yeah, Aaron's a big fan. Like there's shows.
Love it.
He loves it. So, but what,
Man,
Pat, if you could pick a show or a movie that you like to get, comfortably high for, where you're just feeling good, what's maybe rattle off a couple for me? They're just fun while you're stoned.
I'm pretty sure the name is Whispering Pines or something like that. It's probably one of my favorite movies. The storyline is a guy is a robber, but he robs on a dirt bike, and then rides the dirt bike into like a U-Haul truck, and then he's able to get away for a super long time. But as everything else, you always get caught. So that would probably be the movie. So Into the Pines.
Into the Pines.
Yep, and it is. Yeah, that would be the one. It is a pretty long movie. I think it's like 2 hours, almost 3 hours. But
Nice.
What do you think about Cheech and Chong movies? Have you seen any of those? I know you're young, so.
I have. Up in Smoke was probably the one that I've seen the most. That actually started at a young age, watching it with one of my neighbor friends. So it was something I always thought was pretty hilarious.
I always liked Next Movie and Nice Dreams. Those were the two that I really liked.
Next Movie and Nice Dreams.
Next Movie was their second one, and that's when their cousin comes to visit, and he's just it's Cheech, but like as a different guy. He's like, "Holy Cheech, oh, how you doing there?" He's like that kind of guy, and he takes Chong on adventures around town while Cheech waits at home for his girlfriend, and basically she shows up and he's asleep, so she stomps off mad, and it's really funny. And Pee-wee's in it too. Pee-wee Herman's in it, so.
No way.
Yep. They go to he's the concierge at the hotel where their cousin Red is staying, but he's also at a comedy club, and he is actually Pee-wee, and he's all, "You guys look familiar." You can tell he's like, "Oh man." But it's like before he'd made any movies too. It was probably like around, I think that movie's around 81. So the character was still developing.
Yeah. I always feel like others are better at remembering movies and things than I am. So
Absolutely. Hey, I mean, everyone's got their gifts, my friend. So your gifts are cannabis, my friend. What do you
Yes.
think, like, all the time that you've spent, helping people, and also just like experiences you've had with friends and whatnot, what do you think the most beneficial things are for people? I mean, it could be a list of 100 things, or it could be one thing. I mean, it's really up to you,
The most beneficial for people, I think, is whole plant products, anything that is a whole plant extraction, because you're getting the entire, and what I consider is the entourage effect of cannabinoids. Everyone, yep, CBG is also prevalent in there. People always push and go for THC and all of this isolate and everything, but in all reality, the most benefit and the best effect that you get from any of that would be a whole plant extraction, which, like you said, has CBG, CBN, CBD, THCV, and all of that. So
could that be immature plants? It wouldn't have to be mature female plants, right?
So anything that I've made with whole plant was mature females, but you could essentially juice vegetative plants or small plants that are not flowering. I would think, because as you know, CBG is most prevalent in the vegetative cycle. So I think that would be how you would be able to extract as much as possible. So that is probably something that we should try one time.
Definitely. I always thought like a CBG juice bar would be a wonderful benefit for cannabis folks. So
Well, most don't know.
I've already done it, Aaron. No, I've already done it. Like that's the thing. Everything,
Nice.
it's all been done, baby. Yeah, it's all storefront's already there. Like, yeah,
Nice.
I just throw that out there because I want people to look towards the future. That's what cannabis is all about, right? It's about
It is.
the future. It's about taking the past, living in the present, and making the future for a better place for all of us. That's what the cool thing about working in this, working with cannabis is that it's a positive thing. It's trying to help people, regardless of You know, you're not going to win over everybody, and also it's not for everyone. Let's speak to that a little bit, guys. It, why isn't it for everyone?
Um, I sometimes think it's a circumstantial or situational thing. Maybe the environment that they're in is not suitable. But I also sometimes think that maybe mental health does kind of play into it in certain cases, certain circumstances, just because I feel like people have changed or done things differently or been affected for longer periods of time after they consume cannabis. So I do think there are side effects to it, or people that overdose on edibles and things. I think that's pretty just because they don't understand that an edible is that much more potent than smoking cannabis. So
And it's just a different high-end delivery system too. It's you know, it's like apples and oranges for folks. You know, you're not going to feel the same way. You know, and also too, when we smoke, it's absorbed through our lungs, so that's what gives us that instantaneous feeling of being high. Whereas, you know, there's so many factors with eating edibles, your metabolism, what you ate that day, you know, all these things that play into it, your tolerance. So all those things can be tricky to maneuver. But I feel like once people find the right, like for myself, I didn't really like edibles that much. And then I found some gummies that I really enjoy, 200 milligrams, perfect, ready to go, you know, and then I don't really have to use cannabis for like maybe 4 to 6 hours if I don't want to, which is, I don't even think about, whereas sometimes I'm like, you know, I feel like I want to use again, you know, smoke again or whatever. This gives me an opportunity to kind of use less and things like that. Absolutely.
I would say the most beneficial product for me,
Yeah.
for me and anybody, would probably be RSO, which would be Rick Simpson oil. But it is extremely potent. But I think a good regimen or anything of that nature would be good. So
Now, Aaron, I know your main method is definitely smoking the chops, but you also use like topicals and stuff, correct?
I do. I use topicals for my long days at work. Yeah. After that, I put them on my feet. Yeah, they work. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
some bougie feet, Aaron. I'm just kidding.
What's that?
So you got some bougie feet?
Man, my feet is bougie as heck, bro. Like, I definitely need some after work, you know? Because where I work, my manager is super bossy.
Yeah.
Always working me hard. And yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Boy, I tell you. But he's a good guy though. He's a good guy though. For real. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Indeed. That's awesome. Well, you guys, we have about 20 minutes left. You are tuning into Stir the Pot on Staples Media. My name is Greno. That's right, stir it up. And my favorite smoking buddy, AP Aaron Pierce in the house. We are learning and chilling with Mr. Patrick Stipe. I had to add the S in. He's the cousin of Michael Stipe. So, Mike, we're going to reach out to you soon. Let's get a collaboration going with some music, buddy. I know that you're a busy guy. But we also celebrated what, Pat?
I said we can manage it.
We also celebrated the wonderful artwork of Mr. Brock Smith. Hey, I just want to do a quick promo. I got 2 new shows coming. One tomorrow. It's going to be a vinyl show. So we'll be hanging out at the record store, What's Left Records, down there on Circle in Colorado Springs. So you guys are welcome to hang out. Come on the show, talk records and stuff with Sean and Brian Ostro, and then my buddy Vinny G out in California from the 64. So that's happening tomorrow at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So that means 4 o'clock Pacific and 6 o'clock Eastern. And then I got another show cooked up, and that's going to be an art show. Probably we're working on the name and all that with a very groovy co-host for that show. So we'll leave that to be a mystery. But hey, right now we're focusing on this beautiful man from Alabama, right here, Mr. Patrick Stipes.
Are you going to be streaming from in the record store tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Awesome.
So I will have a Zoom. Let's see. Did I write it down? If you folks want to follow us on our Facebook page, Aaron and I are on Stir the Pot Facebook page. And Pat, there's a wonderful, I know you don't go on Facebook, but there's a wonderful picture of you and Ava, Pat's dog, on the website, on the Facebook page. But yeah, we'll have a Zoom number for that. And then eventually we'll have a Facebook page. The show is called Sunday Spin.
Sunday Spin.
So we're going to do that tomorrow, but just wanted to, throw that out there. And I would love to have you guys on the show. So what do you guys think the future for cannabis is looking like? Like, let's stir it up here and let's project 5 years down the road. I know Aaron gave me a really good, you're on a reprieve, Aaron. You gave an excellent answer last week. So you don't have to. And it was, I still remember, it's almost like a futuristic look into cannabis is what Aaron described. But Pat, for you, being young, being impressionable, being intelligent, what do you see in the future, maybe 5-10 years down the road? And it could be the aspect, it doesn't have to be, financial side of it or the storefronts. It could be any aspect of cannabis.
So, as you know, I'm a grower myself, and I'm an advocate for people to be home growers all the time. But one thing that I guess would scare me possibly with federal legalization in 5 to 10 years would be if they cut that out. But I think the industry is headed in a good direction. We've gotten a good stronghold, a good footholding, and I think lots of people are starting to have their minds changed or their perceptions changed on cannabis, and that is a step in the right direction. I think we're going to see a lot less pharmaceuticals and things if it were to go federally legal, so that would be a good thing. But I think it's headed in a good direction. Obviously, we're in 2020 right now. We're just going to keep adding more and more technology to it. So I think the products are just going to continue to get better and better that we do have due to the more research that they are doing. So I think we're headed in a really good direction. Just hoping that more states push for legalization sooner than later. Because there's lots of people that could be benefiting from it in particularly southern states and things that are pretty adamant on not having it. So,
have you guys seen a lot more people spending a lot more money during this pandemic time, spending more money on cannabis?
Yep, where I've been working at, I would say people have been spending a lot more money on cannabis. I think it's possibly being home and not working, consuming a lot more, so they're having to purchase a lot more. Or I don't want to say it, but possibly the unemployment. People are getting a lot more money with unemployment. But to my surprise, more people were spending a lot more money. A lot more people were spending money than I anticipated when COVID originally started.
And that definitely affects, because you can only grow so much at a certain time, no matter how small or big you are. And so it definitely has had an effect, I'm sure, on the availability of a lot of strains and things like that in stores, things like that. So has that impacted you guys too, or?
I would say so. Throughout where we're at, most storefronts have had a struggle of keeping any products on the shelves. So I would say it's pretty much everywhere.
Do you shop in Denver at all at dispensaries?
Primarily just Colorado Springs, due to not driving up to Denver, being in the area much. But I'm unsure. I guess I can't speak for the Denver area, but I can speak for the Colorado Springs.
What do you think the quality overall? Pretty good?
It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So I think it could be better. I guess there's room for improvement, in my opinion.
Availability of products too.
Availability of products has been pretty scarce. I think just the sheer lack of trying to source A, flour, or B, concentrates to make third-party products
Sure.
has been a scarcity on a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the snowball effect with a lot of things, you know, that we've seen over the last 6 months. So, but
'Cause if you
folks,
talk-
hey, we're doing the best we can, right? You got to take it day by day. What were you going to say, Aaron?
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay. He's just smiling though, folks. Look at that smile.
I'm smiling. I'm smiling.
That's $1 million smile. That's right.
You know,
He knows the finish line is getting real close, folks. So yeah, we're having a great time, folks, hanging out.
Yeah.
I've actually gone through, this is the first time I went through my whole list of questions, Pat. So
Oh, wow.
you're doing a good job, definitely. I just want to let people know if they ever want to reach us via email, it's stirthepotco@gmail.com. If you want to send, fan mail to Aaron, things like that, wonderful artwork that we inspire during the show. Questions, comments. If you want to be on the show, contact us through that as well. We also have a Facebook page, Stir the Pot, and we try and post articles on there, information about the show every week. We are on every Saturday from 7 to 8 o'clock Rocky Mountain time, and that's 6 o'clock for you West Coasters and 9 o'clock for you beautiful people on the East Coast. Don't mess with the people on the East Coast, man. Let me tell you right now. Don't mess with them. Right? Exactly. And tell your friends about the show, you guys. We'd really appreciate people tuning in. We love all the feedback that we've gotten so far for the 2 shows, or 3 now, that we've done. Super grateful. And we're going to keep it rolling. Next week, a couple of hoodlums that you guys know. Well, one for sure. We got Miles Damasta, so a very accomplished musician here in town and cannabis enthusiast. And also, hopefully, Mark Freeling.
Nice.
Mark, well, he might be out of town. So it would be great. That would be the dynamic duo, though, right? Because Mark is a vet and also knows a lot about CBD. He actually gives his pooch CBD, so he can speak to that. I know a lot of folks have been asking about having a segment on the show about pets and stuff. Never want to give your pets THC. No. Just give them that CBD, and it works really well for a lot of animals, things like that. So want to thank my producer, Tony, and the Freedom to Rock crew. That's, let's see, Vinny G, Big Papa T, Joe, Nicole, the rock stars from Canada, and then Mr. Mark Mancini, the bearded wonder. Which, by the way, Mark, I'm coming at you with your Pittsburgh love, because you guys, he tried to talk smack to me about the Broncos, which I don't care anything about. And he tried to bait me. Aaron, I think we got to get Mark on the show and talk some sports. But Pat, what about you? I mean, you're from Alabama. Are you a Tide guy?
The only way is the Tide.
Oh.
The only way.
No, yeah. Big Tide fan, I guess. I couldn't say that I watched them continuously each year. But when I'm in the state, there's always a game going on the weekend. So you're at A, a friend's house, B, a relative's house, or something like that, having a good time.
They're not playing though, right? I don't think they're playing.
I don't think they're going to be able to play. I think they tried to open the schools.
Some teams are though. Like some college teams started today. There was some games today. I was like, yeah, oh wow.
Yeah, they were going to try, but I think because of you may know more about the NCAA rules. Do they have to attend school in person to be able to play?
Makes sense to me.
I don't know if that's the case, but
no, I think it is. I think you're correct, sir.
So I think they had a lot of COVID cases, and they had to shut down schools, so that's why they're unable to play. But
yeah, I think it's a case by case. Like some some conferences are playing, some conferences aren't.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, I didn't think anyone was, and then there were some games on today. So, and I think a lot of the bigger schools aren't. There's just too much liability. There's too much money tied up in all this as well, and it's something that I think that we need to address during all this time. Is, you know, just kind of like, again, with a lot of things, just the kind of the imbalance between the folks that, again, I'm all about people making their money, but when you know, some folks are making $25-30 million a year, and other folks are, you know, putting their, whether it be putting their life on the line or molding the minds of, you know, the country or whatever. Not even the guys taking up, you know, doing the trash. I mean, I just feel like we need to be more equitable at some point. And again, I'm all about these people getting their money, these stars and stuff. I'm glad we're talking a little sports. We haven't really got it. That's kind of Aaron's realm as well. Aaron, are you excited about football? Professional football
I am.
starting?
I'm ready for football.
Who do the
I know
Falcons
that
start
you
with?
are. I know you're an Oakland Raider fan, and
Yes, sir.
well, I'm sorry, I can't say Oakland anymore. I mean LV Raiders
Vegas, baby.
is what they are now. But yeah, no, I'm definitely ready for football. You know, I'm ready. I'm ready for my Dirty Birds to do it, put in their work.
What is
You know,
it? Cardinals?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Birds.
No, he's
The Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds. That's the Atlanta Falcons, baby. Atlanta
really?
Falcons.
Matty Ice gonna wake up this year, Aaron?
Yes, sir. What's that?
Is Matty Ice gonna wake up this year? Or?
I hope so. I hope
Folks,
so.
I just
That's all we can hope for is that he wakes up.
Yes,
you
sir.
know? Stay in that pocket, baby. Don't be trying to run because you can't run at all. You're not forced. You're not
folks,
forced, baby.
we are diverse here on Stir the Pot. We're talking a little sports here at the end of the show. We have the amazing, wonderful Patrick Stipes, cannabis connoisseur, grower, fanatic.
Thank you.
Just all around cool guy, especially for being as young as he is. Most people that age are, no, I'm just kidding. We have a lot of younger friends and a lot of great people that are young that are doing awesome things in the industry.
There are a lot of young. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there's some great folks out there doing stuff.
There
So
are.
shout out to all those wonderful folks. Can't even mention all their names. There's too many of them. But who we can mention are the folks from Freedom to Rock Granite. That show's on Fridays on Staples Media from 5 to 6:30 Pacific. SoCal Smackdown with my friend Tony Russo. And I think Dante Powell. There's one other person I do not remember the name of. I do apologize. And that show's Thursdays 4 to 5:30. And they're talking sports, smacking it down. They always have really good guests on, very engaging. You can listen on Zoom. And then What's Left Records, my homies here in Colorado Springs, keeping it real, Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 7. And they have got punk, indie, metal, all kinds of music in there. Hip hop, Aaron. Yep, all kinds of music. And like I said, I'm going to be hanging out there tomorrow. So if you're around, come down and hang out. And if not, view us on Zoom. I'll have that information up on my Facebook page. And like I said, if you don't have Facebook, you can contact us, stirthepotco@gmail.com. And let's see. Gosh, guys, it's been a great show. We've got about 3 more minutes.
I got one more thing to say, sir. On a little serious note, we need justice for Breonna Taylor. We need those cops arrested for that. So I just wanted to put that in the air. I'm still going to speak it. We're going to say her name till justice is served.
Absolutely. Aaron, and I agree with you 100%. I don't think people really understand how intertwined a lot of these movements are. And Black people, I mean, they've been fighting for rights for, over 100 years. And these other movements have been able to piggyback, the gay rights movement, the cannabis movement, piggyback off these movements. And Aaron, you're 100% correct. And thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's very important. We want people to have a good time, but also realize that there's things that need to be changed. And we want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. So Aaron, I really appreciate you saying that. Pat, what about you, man? You want to give any shout outs to any of your homies or Any of your folks back in Bama?
No, just a few. Yeah, just you guys, really. I mean, shout out to the parents, shout out to the grandparents back in Alabama and a few friends. But yeah.
Awesome. No, that's great. Definitely. Well,
And then Don, I'll shout out to Don because I'm going to share this with him later.
yeah, no, fantastic. And folks, the show will be up on YouTube. We'll be doing some post-production right now to make sure we have it up on YouTube. You're just going to have to type in Stir the Pot episode number 3. And again, Pat, it's just been a pleasure having you on the show. Again, it's only our 3rd show. There's my producer, Mr. Tony Russo. What's up, Big Papa? How are you tonight?
Great show, great show. Proud of you guys.
Thank you so much. And Tony, thank you for providing this opportunity.
Always, brother, always. You guys did a great job.
Again, you're watching you're watching Stir the Pot on Stables Media. I'm your host, Greno, my smoking buddy, Aaron Pierce, the wonderful, illustrious Patrick Stipes, my big Italiano sexy producer, Papa Russo. And I think it's a wrap, folks. We'll be back next week with Miles the Master and hopefully Maki Mock Freeling. But until then, let's boogie to some music. Let's see, and then we'll get you guys home. Hope everyone has a great holiday weekend.
Yes,
And
everyone.
always remember, keep your eye on the prize and stir that pot, baby. But right now, let's boogie.